5 weeks later, many people are still struggling to get back to normal. Joining me now from their home in Staten Island, Chuck and Dina Plugas, I think is your pronunciation, your name. So, Chuck, tell me what has happened since the event and what's your biggest frustration now?
How you doing, Dr. Drew?
Chuck.
My biggest frustration right now is actually the insurance companies and what they're actually doing for us and what they're not doing for us. Because we're still waiting and waiting and waiting, and the insurance companies do nothing. They want their money when it's due, but they're not doing nothing to help out to get the things fixed and repaired and taken care of.
Chuck, you're living in your home now, is that right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so there's something to be grateful for here. What is it that they're not doing? What is it you need from them?
We need them actually to cut checks, get these people going so everything can start getting repaired and fixed and everything gets done. Without them cutting the checks and without them doing what they have to do, we're all sitting here still with mildew, still with walls not fixed, nothing insulated, and they're not doing nothing about it.
And it's getting cold. When I was walking around there, one of the things that people were begging for was the trailers. Did you go through that experience as well, where you needed a place to live for a few days?
We needed a place to live, but we had no choice but to stay here. When you have nowhere to go, you have no choice, and you just have to stick around, and you have to just do what you have to do. And between me and my neighbors, we got through it.
And Charles, I want to give people a sense of what that means. This is the part that really cut through to me. When I walked into those houses where people were still living, we're talking about wet floors that were warping and freezing, walls that were caving in and mildewing. Is this what you were dealing with?
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. We're doing the same thing. What's happening is the humidity and everything's making the mold grow.
Yeah. Now,
so you have to literally sit here every day and rip more walls down, scrape them. You got to clean them. You got to bleach them. And you got to keep doing this until it gets fixed.
Let me talk to Robin, also in Staten Island. Robin, what do you got?
Hi. Well, we don't even have a house right now. So we have a house, we have a structure, but we had to completely gut the entire house. The water was over our roof. We ran for our lives that night. And some people, I mean, maybe something is better than nothing, but I really want to talk about the fact that everywhere you go, every company, every store are collecting donations for Hurricane Sandy. Where is this money going? I'm an individual who was a renter without insurance. I can't find one single place other than FEMA, who gave us practically nothing, to actually give us monetary help. The Red Cross, yeah, a blanket, a sandwich, and don't get me wrong, people need these things. But more than that, we need long-term solutions to help to get back on our feet long-term. And there is nothing.
I agree, and this was the frustration I was hearing when I was there. Charles, back to you real quick. You have kids, right?
Yes, I do.
Are your kids back in school? Is their life normalizing at all?
They're back in school.
There they are.
They're doing what they have to do. And they're trying their best, you know, to make it by this. Like I said, we have to stay on the second floor. You can't go near the first floor. You got to stay away from it. And, you know, we've been doing what we have to do. And, you know, if you don't, what else are you going to do? There's nowhere to go. None of the insurance companies are giving us anything. FEMA only wants to do so much and doesn't want to do anything else. And like everybody says, where do you go? Where do you go?
Now, I want to say things are better as far as FEMA goes than, say, when I was there, when people were completely out of luck. FEMA did house and pay for housing for some people, which is why people made it through that horrible nor'easter, which was ridiculously cold right on the heels of it. And by the way, this day you're seeing me with Ramona from Mob Wives walking through the streets of her hometown in Staten Island. It was cold. And that was just a few days after the incident. It just, again, these wet floors, wet walls were literally turning to ice, and people were trying to live in these, I'll call them structures. They were barely that.